Hi loves, and welcome back to this week's Word Wednesday. Today I have a bit of a different video to share with you. I'm going to be sharing with you 3 different books that have helped me and impacted me in my journey as a Christian and as a young woman. So let's go ahead and get right into it and take a look at the books I recommend for you. Okay guys, so if you're anything like I became a Christian when I was in college. So I was a young woman, I was single at the time, and I was really looking for different tools to use to help me to develop a relationship with God. So the very first tool that I recommend for you guys is to pick up a Bible. Now, I know there are great Bible apps out there, and I use them. I mean, I use my Bible app every single day, but there is nothing like your own Bible. And so when I really started developing my Christian walk, I had Bibles that I'd, gotten from my parents when I was little, and we'd had like this just, I don't know if everyone had this, but it was like a kind of hardbound, just like brown Bible, and it said Holy Bible on it. It was the NIV translation because that was my mom's favorite, and it was like just kind of abused after like years of just like family use, but that wasn't really my Bible. So that was something that I had borrowed like from my parents, etc. But I didn't really have a Bible of my own. So I went out and I actually used my Bible app to look up different translations and to figure out which translation I wanted my Bible to be in. So that's the first thing that I recommend, is to choose a translation that speaks to you, that's easy to understand, and that you just get. So this Bible is actually not something that you would think of like a young adult picking up. It is it's the Teen Life Application Study Bible. It's the New Living Translation. But I love it because it really breaks down the books of the Bible really well. It breaks down different like stories and scenarios. It gives you like this little section here. This is just in First Chronicles. It has little principles to live by. And it speaks directly from the Bible. So it talks about David giving Solomon principles to guide him through life, and then it breaks down the principles. So for me as a new Christian and as a young adult, this was really, really perfect for me to get my teeth into and really start reading the Bible and knowing what the Word says and have practical things that were really applicable for my life and for some of the things that I was facing, and even some of the questions that I'd had as a teenager. So I really, really love this translation. And again, I mean, it's not something that you'd think of like a 21-year-old young woman picking up, but it was perfect for me. So I encourage you to find a translation that speaks to you, and don't worry about like if it's a certain label, if it says teen or like mom or young, woman's Bible or whatever it says. Just find something that really speaks to you and that you think, okay, this will work for me. And honestly, with this guy, it didn't hurt that it was pink, so that was a win. All right, friends, so the second book that I have to share with you is Jesus Calling by Sarah Young. It's a devotional. It's 365 days, and this thing is actually in like really great condition for how old it is. My husband and I got this for each of us, basically, for us as a couple, when we were, I want to say, engaged. I think it was before we were actually married. And we read devotions every day. So we either read them, when we were together or just like over the phone or something like that. But we read this together for a full year. And since that time, I've probably read through this book another 3 times, so another 3 years. And each time I get a different devotional, I'll read it for like a couple days or maybe a month or 2, and then I always end up coming back to this. I just love the breakdown of this. I love how applicable and practical it is. It's written from the perspective of God speaking to you, so it's an absolutely incredible devotional. So I like this large version because it has the scriptures written out in it rather than just having the references. So I know the small versions have the references to the verses, but for me, again, starting out as a Christian and really getting my teeth into a daily habit of reading the Bible and reading the Word, it's super helpful. Or it was super helpful, still is, to have these scriptures already written out for me without me having to dig around in the Bible and find it. Alright guys, and the last book that I have to recommend for you, it is called The Best Yes. It's by Lysa TerKeurst. This is something that I read last year, and I had actually had it for over a year before I actually read it. I had started to read it and just didn't feel like it was applicable to my life at that time, and so I set it down. I went back to it, I would say about a year, like 9 months to a year later, and literally every single word spoke to me like spoke volumes. So I think that can happen a lot with books. And so I encourage you, if you find something and you're like, oh my gosh, those are great principles and a great like premise, and I would love to read that book. If you pick it up and like start reading it and you're like, I don't really feel like it's super practical for me right now, set it aside and come back to it in a few months and see if, you know, where you're at in your life has changed or anything like that. I can't really tell you like what had changed in my life to make the book applicable to me at the time that it was. But whatever it was amazing. And I read the book super, super quickly, and I've like highlighted, I've dog-eared, I have made so many references to this, and it's just been a tool that I use constantly now, especially in our ministry. And I think it's a great book for every single woman. Whatever your walk of life you're in, whether you're in college or you're a young mom or you're an empty nester and you're retired, wherever you are in life, I think this book is so practical because it has some really amazing tips and strategies and really just an amazing premise. It talks all about finding your best yes, what God's best yes is for you in life, and all of the little yeses that we make in life, or the choices that we have to make throughout our lives to get to our best yes. And the choices that we make, as simple as if we're going to sleep in on a Saturday or go have, coffee with a friend and have fellowship, which choice is the best yes for that moment. So it's something that has really helped me, and it also helps you to say no, which I know is a big thing for a lot of women. We have a hard time saying no. We want to please everyone, but this book really breaks it down as to how we should say no, why we should say no, and what saying no does not only for you in your personal life, but also what it does for the other person. Right? And I'll just kind of give you guys a little cheat sheet. In essence, saying no to someone or to an opportunity not only frees you to do your best yes work or to do the thing that is the best yes answer for you, but it also frees that other person to find the person or the specific need to fill that role that is going to be the best yes for that person. So say if someone comes to you and says, oh my goodness, here's like a super practical one for us in our church, right? If you go to church and you're involved at all, the children's ministry is always in need of volunteers, right? So our children's pastor would totally like come to me and say, oh my goodness, I need someone to, man our preschool ministry every second Sunday of the month. Can you do that? I know that that's not the best yes answer for me. Like, I know that my time and my energy and my resources are spent better spent elsewhere. And so me saying no to her frees her up to find the person who, when she asks them to fill in for this opportunity, would say, oh my goodness, this is the opportunity I've been waiting for. This is what God has called me to. Absolutely, this is my best yes moment for you. So hopefully that kind of gives you guys an idea of how Lysa breaks things down and how she just trains you to say yes to things and how to say no to things as well. So I absolutely love this. I highly recommend it, literally for any woman, whether you're a teenager, whether you are 65 or 70 or like my grandma just turned 87 today, wherever you are in life, definitely recommend this. So friends, those are the 3 book recommendations that I have for you, especially if you are starting out on your journey as a Christian, or if you're wanting to just get deeper in your walk with God and really create daily habits. I hope that you guys have enjoyed the video and that you've found some helpful tips, and let me know if you run out to buy any of these books or if you have them already and what you think of them. Thank you again so much for watching. Have a great day, guys, and happy Word Wednesday.